like an hour ago. Uh,
Yeah, I do a version of the show where it's just me and I just kind of interact with people in the live chat and just kind of, just do like a free form thing. And then I do this version of the show, which is just more of like a one-on-one thing. I'm just talking
oh,
to somebody.
right on, man. Am I allowed to drink this? I think I'll put this in a glass or something. So
I think you should be able to drink whatever you want. I don't see why that would be a problem.
okay, I just didn't know if it interfere with sound or not. But
I don't have the best sound setup anyway, so I think you're probably all right.
cool. Yeah, I've never done this video chat thing before, except chat roulette. But that's a whole different.
Okay, so well, this is very similar to chat roulette.
Cool. I'm guessing not as X-rated.
Well, you never know. It's all about
Oh,
spontaneity.
nice.
Okay, yeah, so I guess I'll do the formal introduction now. This is Video Drone with me, Disregarding Henry. This is the version of the show, as I was explaining earlier, where I have a one-on-one chat with somebody. And today my guest is Jeffrey Garcia, who has sent me some short films. Say something so you pop up. It goes back and forth.
Hey. Okay.
There you
Cool.
go.
Am I popped?
I'm sorry, I keep saying stuff, and so it keeps going back to me. But hey,
That's
here's my cat.
nice
But yes,
you got there.
thank you. But yes, my guest is Jeffrey Garcia, who is a short filmmaker and music video director and all kinds of great stuff. He has sent me physical copies of his work, DVDs, which is very cool. I think to date I've gotten DVDs from like maybe one other person. I should try and get them on the show, but yeah, you're one of the few to actually send me physical media of your
Uh,
work, which is very cool.
love it. Love physical media.
Yes, me too. Yeah, so definitely appreciate.
Obviously, I could tell behind you.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Uh, I wish more people would do that, man. Collect.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like it's still a thing, but it's slowly dying, unfortunately, along with
Yeah.
many other things, which is sad. Movie theaters, all the things I love.
We're in the wrong time, man.
Yeah, my happiness is slowly dying. you know.
I feel, I feel like I would have been better. I mean, I don't want to sound, after Midnight in Paris, I kind of realized it does sound kind of dumb saying, "Oh, I wish I was in this other era." But seriously, man, I feel like I would have fit in with the '70s.
Hell yeah.
The American New Wave is what they call it, or the '90s like indie scene that blew up somewhere
Yeah,
there. But it's whatever.
absolutely. Yeah, I dream about that constantly. I'm obsessed with the new Hollywood movement.
That's what it's called. Yeah, man. Dennis Hopper kind of spearheaded that, I think.
Yeah, yeah, Easy Rider. That was like the official birth of the new Hollywood. Was Easy Rider. Just what a breakthrough what a breakthrough that movie was, and yeah, how it kind of established like BBS and all those other guys, and it just kind of opened up the floodgates for all those other films. Robert Altman,
Mm.
Hal Ashby, God.
Harold and Maude, right? That's what he did.
Yeah, Harold and Maude. Do you like that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I saw it kind of late because once I saw it, I had seen a million others that have been influenced by it, and it's like
Uh,
wasn't as like new to me. But yeah, it was pretty good. But speaking of Dennis Hopper, Out of the Blue, you ever see Out of the Blue?
no. Which one is that?
Came out in 1980. He was originally just going to star in it, but then the director dropped out after a couple weeks, I think, and he took over as director. And it's one of Harvey
Really?
Korein's favorite films.
Oh,
That's how I
really?
knew about it. Was through like his list. I checked it out, man. I saw it at a pawn store for like $1 as a
Oh,
double
wow.
feature, super ghetto bootleg, and I was like, man, I got to see this. And I watched it and just like it's fucking. Sorry, I don't mean to cuss so much, but it's freaking good. Great
Yeah. Try.
acting,
Oh,
uh, just everything. It's fucking crazy, man. It's a crazy movie.
what is it? Is it like a thriller? Is it a drama?
It is a I would want to say maybe just a hard drama. It's about like a teenage girl who's very rebellious and punk,
Oh, is this the one with Jodie Foster?
No, no, this is
Oh,
well, the lead actress, she was in Gummo as an adult. She played the mom of the
oh my God.
yeah, the Blue.
Yeah, yeah, Linda Mons.
Yeah, so yeah, she was also in Days of Heaven.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even realize she did any other movies. I thought the only stuff I know her from is Days of Heaven and Gummo, obviously. I had no idea she did other stuff.
Yeah, so she's like the star of it, and like Dennis Hopper's the dad, and he is a bus driver, and he kills no, no, he's a truck driver, and he runs into a bus of retarded children and kills them all,
Oh
and he
my
goes to prison for it.
God.
And so while he's in prison, Linda Mons starts acting very rebellious and gets into drugs and all sorts of stuff, most notably punk rock. And so Dennis Hopper comes back into her life, and just it's wild, man. It's
That sounds wild.
yeah.
Wow. So, one thing I can say about your work, which naturally I want to talk about, yeah, you sent me, okay, so the first one you sent me, this was, how long ago did you send me the first one? A couple months? Was it this year?
Yeah, I want to say early 2017. I
Okay, yeah, so a few months
think,
ago.
or maybe, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And you have three shorts on this one, and
Yeah.
your DVDs are available for purchase on your website, correct?
Yes, they're available on my website and another website, Pecan Crazy Records.
Oh,
It's this
okay.
local label in town, and uh, they decided to put my stuff out on video. So
Oh, that's sweet.
yeah,
What?
I'll send you the link to that
Okay,
as
yeah.
well
I
if you.
put. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. I'm just
No, no,
nervous.
no, it's okay. It's just like with Google Hangouts, the thing we're using right now. If I'm talking when someone else is talking, it'll like cut your audio off, and so I won't be able to
Um,
hear what you're saying. So it can lead to confusion sometimes, but I try to work with it the best I
I,
can.
I'm naturally awkward, so I mean, just heads up.
Hell, I am too. That's why I am most comfortable, doing like a YouTube channel where it's like I can sort of feel alone, but also like I'm, performing, everyone's paying attention to me.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like a lot of artists are like that. We're simultaneously like narcissistic, but also like shy and private at the same time. It's a weird contradiction, right?
Dude, it really is. Like, because like on my website, I hate to like plug it in so much.
No,
There's
go by all means, do it as much as you want.
on the icon is my face, but and it seems very narcissistic of doing that. But I'm also like really shy and don't want to put my face. But I'm just so just there's something like kind of I don't know. It's I feel you, man. Like also like my channel's called Jeffy's Playhouse. I I had my own fake talk show called the Jeffrey Garcia Show, and I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you just like you're compelled to put yourself out there, but then at the same time you feel kind of panicked about it, right? Like
Yeah.
I obsessively, I want to put things out there and like make my voice heard and make things and to be noticed by people, but then I look at what I've done, just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm an idiot. Why am I bothering with this kind of stuff? I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just weird, there's that those two conflicting I guess tendencies. And I feel like it's common to a lot of people that create and perform and do stuff like that. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, even actors or stand-up comedians, it's like there's so much, they seem to project such confidence, but then at the same time, there's all this doubt and anxiety and everything that they're also dealing with. It's weird. I don't know. No, I don't really understand it.
Yeah, there's a lot of actors that don't even watch their own stuff. They'll just watch like the
Yeah.
news or whatever. It's really strange.
Yeah. But I lost my train of thought. Was that? Oh, you said there was a local record or place that is putting out your work.
Yeah, so there's this dude I met. He likes to dress up like an old man and play songs around town. And since like about the late 90s, he started his own record label, and
Oh wow.
he puts out his own music, and he seeks out other people's work around the area or somewhere in the United States, and he'll produce like cassettes and CDs, and he'll just you know throw big parties for the release and just have them online, man. It's pretty
Wow.
cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Um,
actually on the cover of the Three Short Films DVD. He's the
oh, is he one of these guys?
Yep, he's the one in the yellow sweater.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you the nun?
Yep, I'm the nun.
Oh, wow. I
I
didn't
don't
even
like to
realize.
act, but I had a there's a long story with that whole nun thing, but
Where are you based right now, if you don't mind me
uh,
asking?
I was born in Austin, Texas, but I've spent my entire life in San Marcos, Texas, which is in
Oh,
between. It's a hippie college town, and it's only has like less than 50,000 people. Um,
wow.
so yeah,
Is
it's
there
kind
a,
of. Oh,
is
go on. Sorry.
that, I was going to ask, is there like a strong like art community, creative community there?
The art community comes and goes. It's very formal. Like back in the 90s, there was a heavy like punk aesthetic to the art scene with zines and
Oh,
just in your
yes.
face stuff. But then it kind of like died, and now it's still there. It's starting to come up again. Like
Oh, that's good.
yeah, but other than that, it's just yeah.
Okay,
uh, well, there's a
and
growing film scene now.
oh, is there like just
Yeah, not to
more people
brag, but I feel
making
like it kind
stuff?
of. I'm sorry.
Just more people like making stuff and kind of putting things together?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really cool, man. Like uh, it's like now it's like every other week or every other month there's like film screenings of people. Well, it's people making their own shorts, and they go to local coffee houses and they throw them up and present them.
Wow, that's
And
very cool.
yeah, it just started happening within the last like 2 years, and it's really cool, man. Like I know all of them, and I've collaborated with them, and yeah, it's nice. It's kind of
You get your
it's cool
stuff.
not to be the only one
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I was the
And
only one forever, and so now boom, bunch everywhere. So
yeah, yeah, of course. And you get your stuff played like in these local areas, get your movie scene?
yeah, actually, I'm gonna have a well, Whimsy and Hester, the new film. I presented it in October twice. No. I presented it in October once for the premiere at this local coffee shop, and then last week I had it at a house party, and then in 2 days from now I'm gonna have it at a different coffee house because those seem to be the only places that will show the kind of movies I make. So
Yeah, it sounds it reminds me of like John Waters, like when he was starting out doing his early stuff and he just kind of like he'd play it wherever they'd agree to play it, you know, in Baltimore. Like he'd premiered which movie was it? What, Multiple Maniacs, maybe? I think premiered at a church, of all places.
yeah, that's where they filmed the rosary job scene too.
Yeah. So it kind of
That's
reminds me of that it's just kind of like this DIY thing, and you're just
mhm.
kind of like, you know, going wherever you can and just receiving like local community support. It just makes me think of that, you know, just that kind of underground mentality that like people like John Waters started out in. I
Oh,
actually, what?
I said, oh, definitely. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's Google Hangouts. Your audio's cutting out while I'm rambling on about junk.
No, I
Um,
mean, honestly, that's what everyone compares me to is John Waters because of the whole exactly what you were saying. It's really interesting. Like it's like a little Baltimore, I guess. Uh,
do you feel it's a fair comparison? Like, are you okay with people comparing your work to John Waters?
I prefer that over Wes Anderson because I love Wes Anderson, but when people mean Wes Anderson, they just mean symmetry. Like it's very broad. Like
Yeah, color.
John Waters, yeah, it's very specific. It's DIY. It's provocative. It's gross. It's weird. Like
Yeah, yeah. It's confrontational, and there's a sort of campy, humorous sensibility as well.
non-actors. Like no one in my
Yes.
films are professionals.
Yes.
Friends and coworkers.
Yeah.
Actually, the mom in Whimsy and Hester is like the only professional actor I've had. She's
Oh,
been in
really?
musicals and
She's
other.
very good. I was
Yes,
impressed by her performance.
she's a blessing. She's gonna be in my next one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
talk too much about that one though.
okay, that's okay. Yeah. Are you gonna make a
I'm still in the
DVD of that
writing
one?
process. I'm still kind of brainstorming.
Oh, okay. So very early.
Very, yeah. But she says
Or-
she's down to be in the next picture. So,
Hey, that's great.
hmm
But yeah, I would also say there's similarities to John Waters. I got a cat in my lap, so I'm just trying to juggle everything awkwardly. But I would say there's also similarities to John Waters in like the way you tell your stories. It kind of seems to be evoking like this nostalgic innocence,
mm.
but combined with subject matter that is often very disturbing or, or confrontational or I guess just that really contrasts kind of with the tone you seeming to be strike, you know, where like with John Waters, that's something that you really notice is that there's kind of this 50s aesthetic and all this old nostalgic rock and roll and detail and everything. But then he's also got these really like depraved characters and disturbing scenes. I kind of feel a similar thing to your work, as there's kind of like this old-fashioned sort of sensibility that you're evoking, but you're subverting it with all of this, you know, more disturbing kind of subject matter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I try not to have cell phones in the movies, like the characters use cell phones,
Yeah.
except for one. Terrence, he uses a cell phone.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, because he's trying to call back Christine. But
Y-
I tried getting a real old phone. Don't get me
yes.
wrong,
Yeah.
you know.
I think
But
that's fun. To me,
yeah,
it's more photogenic. Old technology is more photogenic.
of course, yeah. No, what is this? Like a candy bar? Like I don't know. It doesn't look good at all.
And you notice, like, with directors, you know, trying to show like texting and modern phones, like it seems like we still haven't really figured out how to show that kind of stuff cinematically, like showing somebody texting in a way that, you know, is really nice presentationally. Like
Yeah,
directors have their different ways of doing it, but I feel like no one's really hit upon a method of doing it that really feels natural and, you know, cinematic. Whereas like, you know, I don't know, just rather than showing somebody taking a picture with their phone, like showing somebody with a Polaroid camera and having the Polaroid print out and then showing the Polaroid on screen, that to me is just it's more photogenic that way, you know, this old-fashioned kind of clunky technology.
yeah, definitely. Like in like you were saying with Polaroid cameras, we had like one of those disposable fun saver cameras in Whimsy and
Oh
Hester.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, phones, man, I don't like them. Social media
Yeah.
too. I don't ever reference Facebook or anything. Or
Yes, yeah, and I think it creates, yeah, a very specific kind of feeling in your work too, that they seem kind of displaced and from a different time.
yeah, yeah, definitely. You know, I mean that stuff changes rapidly. I don't want to have it dated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's still
absolutely.
rather new.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, you sent me the three short films. This
Yes, sir.
DVD was the first one you sent me. This has the shorts Plush Bus, Terrence, and Lamb Chop, as well as some music videos and a few other things. And then I just got this one, Whimsy and Hester. Do you wanna like give a plot synopses or anything like that for these movies, or do you want to just focus on one?
I don't mind going through all of them. I mean, if you want. I mean, which
It's
one would you
it's
like first? The three short films or the new film?
uh,
Or
it's been a while since I've seen the three shorts.
okay.
For this interview, like I watched Whimsy and Hester earlier today,
Oh,
took some
cool.
notes on it. So that would be the one that I could talk about with the most familiarity.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that one then. Cool.
Okay, and your DVDs, as I mentioned, are for sale on your website. Are
Yes.
they on your YouTube channel?
There's yeah, they're actually on my YouTube channel.
Okay, okay, so you can watch
Yeah,
them there.
yeah, you can
And
watch them on there, but it's just for those that like to collect underground films, you know, to have that.
yeah, yeah, support an artist. Yeah, you can go. The links, Jeffrey's links, are in the description for this video. You can click on those links and yeah, watch his stuff and support him by purchasing a DVD or whatever else you want to do. Um, do you have other stuff like for sale on your website?
I did. I had because I also do comics, and
Oh, okay.
I had a collection, but I took it off because I didn't make enough
Oh,
comics, and no one was buying them. So I was like, I'll just take them off for now. I also don't really draw that much anymore. It's been a while, so
do you want to continue, or are there plans to like make any more like illustrated kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. It's just like when I've been such in a film mindset that it's hard to kind of get back into the whole
Mm,
comics and stuff, you know, because
yeah.
what made me get because I used to draw a lot as a kid, and I started filmmaking in high school. And what got me back into drawing was like I started reading Robert Crumb and blah blah, you know, Harvey Picard, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I want to get into this, and I want to try to do my best. And so there, if you can only imagine what my comics would be like if you've seen my films. You know, there's you
Yeah.
can get away with a lot more with comics.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually watching Whimsy and Hester, it struck me that it's like I really feel like R. Crumb had an influence on this kind of sensibility. I felt a strong Rob R. Crumb influence on Whimsy and Hester in particular.
he, I love people like him, man. Like it makes me more. It feels like a challenge, like who can outdo who, and it's also like liberating. Like you can be as fucked up and crazy as you want because it's art. You know, it's just
Yeah,
nice, especially in this culture now. It's seeking
yeah,
inspiration, in the artists of the past.
yeah. And that should I probably should issue a warning on that note that yeah, Jeffrey Garcia's work does contain some adult content, so just as a fair warning to anybody watching his stuff, be prepared for yeah, some adult content going into his work. But definitely if you're a fan of R. Crumb, can I say Greasy Strangler? Have you seen that movie?
I've not, and I've heard that comparison too, and I've tried not to watch it because I'm afraid of being influenced or being turned off from
Yeah,
continuing.
yeah,
But
yeah. I understand, but I
I
think.
could, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say anybody who like the Greasy Strangler, who likes R. Crumb, John Waters, that kind of sensibility, that kind of style, I think would really get a kick out of your work. So I just wanted to say that I think there's definitely um, there's a potential fan base lurking out there for your kind of stuff,
Yes,
and so I would want to turn them on to it. But I wouldn't offend you, right, to say your work is probably not for everyone, right?
no, it's definitely not. Because you know, not only of the content and the humor, but also my sensibilities as a filmmaker. I'm very much influenced a lot by the masters, you know, and like the art house type of deal. So sometimes I get a little too self indulgent with certain framing and shot and moods and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, not for everyone. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Who were your biggest influences? Like, who really took you? I guess really made you see like kind of that film was what you wanted to do. That made you see cinema, as a mode for self-expression. Like, who were the directors or films that really pointed you in that direction that you can recall?
Okay, so there's different phases with that throughout my
Okay.
whole. So middle school, I saw the Kentucky Fried Movie. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
The John Landis's first movie, right?
His second actually. His first was called Schlock, and it
That's
was like a
right.
Bigfoot movie.
Yeah, the ape movie that Rick Baker worked on. That's right.
Yeah, this one was the Zucker brothers' first like written film.
Yes, that's right.
So John
Yes.
Landis. So that I was like 12 and I saw that, and then I started writing my own sketch comedy movie. It was called Your Mom the Movie. It was really stupid, and I was like casting people. I didn't even have a camera. I was like casting people, and I was writing skits. I was so excited, and then I was eventually reality was like, you don't have a camera, you can't make anything, and so I just kind of got rid of that.
Ooh.
So I got my first camera when I was like 15, and that's when I started making films. And for about a year, I was just making comedy stuff.
It's just like a mini DV thing.
No, actually, it was like in a hard drive, like already in the camera. This was like a. I wish I
Oh.
had it on me. It's pretty old, but so like yeah, so like Kentucky Fried Movie, that slapstick. I used to watch a lot of Mel Brooks and Airplane and all
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, I got really into Kevin Smith. Now, he was the first director that I knew there was like a director, you know, like an auteur. I mean,
Oh
say what you
yeah.
will about him, but he definitely had his own universe, his own style.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I would just watch his all the time. But I must say, Kubrick was the one that really just opened that, you know, whole other world. Like, okay, there's more than just this, you know, commercial stuff. There's film is an art form now. Like
Yeah.
this is a whole different thing.
Yeah. It's always Kubrick, isn't it?
It always is. I can't, you know, and I know it sounds cliche, but like I saw Clockwork Orange and I was just, that's how I realized framing was through that. And
Yeah.
like style was from watching that. I used to watch it over and over and over, and I would obsess with it, with Clockwork and just all of his films. But Space Odyssey was the one that just totally blew my mind. And at this point, I'd already had a healthy appetite of Paul Thomas Anderson and
Yeah.
Tarantino, you know, the Scorsese. But 2001 was like my jaw dropped when the credits started and or credits rolled, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my
Yeah.
god, like this is amazing. It's still my favorite movie. Oh my god, if it's ever on, I'll stop and watch it. It's so
Yeah.
cerebral and it just captures you, and it's just so yeah. It's
I'm the same way. Yeah. That was the one for me. I'm getting an echo. I'm hearing my own voice. Oh, I think it's gone. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the last guy I talked to actually, Clockwork Orange was the one that did it for him too. So it's funny. Yeah, it's. I mean, Kubrick's the one, isn't he? Like you see Kubrick, it's like you realize, like, oh my God, movies are made by directors.
Yeah, he popped all of our cherries, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's just you can't ignore it when you watch one of his movies. His stamp, you know, his voice, his eye, his mind, his imagination, his sensibility is just everywhere in his work. You really can't escape it.
Yeah, you almost can't watch a single movie made now that doesn't have some sort of influence by him. Like you can tell every director has at least seen one of his works. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
It's pretty wild. And so like after high school, Cassavetes and Ingmar Bergman, those were also very influential with me. Just the hard drama and the verite style of filmmaking from Cassavetes, and same with Bergman. Although Bergman wasn't much of like verita, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But just
no problem.
So heavy, man. Like those films fucked up, man.
Yeah, I guess that's, people talk about the religious themes in his work, but yeah, Bergman, I mean, he was hardcore in a lot of the stories he told. Like he went to some really dark, disturbing places.
Most definitely, man. Sawdust and Tinsel. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I haven't seen that one.
It's from like 55, I believe. That one, like I had already seen like at least 10 of his works, and then I saw Sawdust and Tinsel. I was like, damn it. He's even like in his early period, he still has that, you know. Yeah, dude, I love Bergman. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not very articulate when it comes to talking about films, but
no, it's good. I'm having a good time. Your enthusiasm is coming across, and that's what I enjoy.
Dude, yeah, this is all I like to do is talk about movies, but there's hardly
me too.
There's not too many people I can talk about movies with, except my best friend Tim.
Yeah, that's the way it usually is, you know. I grew up. I still live in a small town, and yeah, not a lot of like, I guess, strong film community here. So yeah, it's always enjoyable to do these and, you know, talk to people with similar kind of mindset. That's kind of why I do it. But yeah, Bergman, you think back to like something like Cries and Whispers. You know, it's a meditation on death, and yeah, there's this intellectual side to it, but I mean, it's also a movie like where a woman mutilates herself, like stabs herself in her own genitals with a piece of broken glass. It's like, oh my God, that's 30 years before Von Trier's Antichrist. Like, I'm surprised that Bergman isn't more well known, for just that jarring content that would be in his movies. Like, and it wasn't like it was an uncommon thing. Like, he was pretty bold in a lot of the subject matter he would approach.
Yeah, like Persona and
Yeah.
Liv Ullmann, man. She's like, I know I can't like understand her, but I think she's great, man. You know.
Yeah, she was. I think when I was in high school, my favorite actress.
Yeah, I would not disagree with you, man. She's
Persona, Hour of the Wolf, Cries and Whispers.
Only horror film or gothic horror.
Hour of the Wolf.
Yeah, that's considered like his horror film.
Yeah,
like, but it's strange. That's only one. A lot of like, and Stanley Kubrick only had one. It's like,
yeah,
a lot of the greats at least tap into horror at least once. I think. I may be wrong. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, but speaking of Bergman, you know, when I was like 19, I wrote a space opera, but it was like it was like my version of like a Bergman film in space.
Oh, wow.
With, like, my sense of humor thrown in there, but it was just people arguing and hating each other, and they're stuck up there, and one of them does puppet work, and the other one just is like abortion shit. Like, I don't know. It's just, I wish I would have made that, but yeah, it's whatever.
Do you still have like
Bergman phase when I was writing that?
Do you still have the script?
Yeah, it was titled Jeffrey Dahmer's Magical World of Wonder.
Well, there's still the potential to make it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up taking the aesthetic vibe of it and made a different space film.
Okay.
That's a really old one. That's also on my website, very far back down.
All right.
It's called In the Morning. It's only like 17 minutes long.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's very experimental. The only humor is like irony in there. There's nothing over the top at all. I used to make a lot of very somber movies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, well, like in high school, I made comedies, and then like as I got older, I was like, no, that's silly. I want to make serious stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so I made like 3 serious films, and eventually I stopped making movies for about 2 years, and then I got back into it by making just this crazy shit now. So,
so did you discover underground movies at any point and take a heavy influence from that, or has it just been kind of a thing where your sensibilities have kind of pushed you in the direction of making the movies you are now?
I think definitely sensibilities, and also I got into a lot of that stuff in high school, like Jodorowsky and David Lynch. Like, you know, the idea of a midnight movie was really cool to me.
Yeah,
and I'd seen Pink Flamingos, and I thought it was great. But then I didn't watch anything from John Waters in years. And about sometime around last year, the dude on that DVD cover, he had like all of his movies on video and just lent them to me. And I was watching them, and I was just like, this guy doesn't give a fuck. If one character will immediately whip out their dick and just start, you know, masturbating, and you know, it was just so wild, and I just loved it. And like I had another friend that was like giving me all these like gross out type films, and it's just like, you know, it's very inspiring to see all of that, and in such a, you know, DIY fashion as the stuff that I make. So it's just kind of, I feel like I'm going to hell. My brain is just putty right now. There's just nothing but dicks and vaginas everywhere, and blood.
Yeah. What kind of gross out movies like did you watch?
I mean, I haven't watched that many. Just the John Waters stuff. Short Bus. You ever seen Short Bus? Short
Bus. I actually wouldn't define that as a gross out movie.
Yeah, it's definitely provocative, though. I mean, how often do you see a guy come on his own face in a film?
Absolutely. There's an aspect of that, but I also feel like Short Bus is one of my all-time favorite movies. I feel like it's a really deeply intimate and human drama, but it is also, definitely provocative.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to categorize that as gross out, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
There's also Well, there's also this other film that I forgot the name of it. It was like a series of vignettes based around sexual identity, and one of them was about this gay guy in a bathroom. Um, and it was like a comedy skit, basically. The version of it was a comedy, and it was just a bunch of dudes in a bathroom trying to suck each other off, but they would get interrupted by someone else coming into the bathroom, and they'd just immediately hide in the urinal. And then eventually, it became this giant gay orgy with like Hitler and the
Oh
Marx Brothers,
God.
and there's just jizz just all over the place. And eventually, Jesus Christ shows up, and I was just like,
Oh my God.
I wish I knew the name of it, man. It was pretty cool. It was really definitely a lot to see. Yeah, it was almost too much. I was like, damn.
Was it old or was it recent?
Sometime in the 2000s.
Oh, okay. Was it
Wish I
called
knew the name.
Destricted?
No, it was called
Because I know that was like a series of short films done by a bunch of different directors like Gaspar Noé and Larry Clark and a bunch of others, but I've never seen it.
oh no, this one was just one director.
Oh, okay.
And the other ones are okay. They're just one's like a drama that focuses on a straight couple. The other one is a lesbian, and then there's one that's like a transvestite hooker at the end. But in the center of it is the comedy one about the gay bathroom.
So
Man, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it.
that's okay. But yeah, I think even if movies like that aren't particularly good, I think it does. If you're drawn to a certain kind of filmmaking, I think it is inspiring to see stuff like that, just to realize like what's possible if you have the audacity, to just make it happen.
Yeah, man, totally. I hope I'm not being built up too much. I'm really not that shocking. I hope your like audience doesn't like, oh, this isn't anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's
Not to bring that back, but I mean,
yeah, yeah. Well, I think comparatively, it's relative. You
yeah,
compare your movies to certain other stuff, it's like, oh, this is tame. But I think certainly compared to most of what's in the mainstream, I think, yeah, probably your work does go into more shocking directions than probably a lot of people would be used to. But yeah, we should talk about well, at least Whimsy and Hester.
yeah. Sorry to derail everything. I just like talking about films a lot. So.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I enjoy this. But Whimsy and Hester. So this is a short film about conjoined twins attempting to lose their virginity. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, totally, definitely. That's how I describe it.
Okay. Did you make this? Was it shot this year? Released this year?
Yeah, it was shot August 20th. Was the first day of filming, and I premiered it October 11th. So, yeah, took
Okay, yeah. So
very recent.
it's your most recent work?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm just looking at my notes here. Most of the stuff we actually kind of wound up talking about anyway, but just like the influence of, yeah, the underground comic influence of R. Crumb, and yeah, that kind of dark and edgy, politically incorrect kind of comedy, but also, yeah, the kind of nostalgic sensibility.
Robert Downey Sr., by the way, is a big influence on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that kind of brought me back into it. Actually, it was him and then John Waters. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
Chafed Elbows, Greaser's Palace. Like this guy, form and story structure don't matter to him. One way goes wherever. That was definitely an influence there.
Yeah, his stuff was a lot more political too. Like he had a lot of like really like progressive political content in his movies, and just like social issues that he was trying to address. Does that have an influence on you at all? Is that something you're interested in, or is it more just kind of the form of it?
The form, really. Yeah, I got more drawn to like the other stuff with Robert Downey. We're still talking about him, right? Not just politics in film or anything like that.
Yeah, Robert Downey Sr.
Yeah.
Just whatever you're interested in. I was gonna ask, you know, if the politics were an influence, but you know, if not, you know, it doesn't need to
No,
be talked
I
about.
try to stay away from putting politics in my movies. Although there is some stuff in there that kind of.
Yeah, it's God, politics now is the easiest, quickest way to polarize an audience. Like even more than content now. I feel like
Oh,
just
geez, man,
politics,
you
yeah.
could say one thing. We're so separated now. It's a shame. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, not to get into it, but
No, yeah, I agree. Like I'm very much on the left side of the spectrum personally, but you know, yeah, it is a little scary to see how totally divided it is, how people, yeah, are just kind of seeing each other as enemies now, you know, and there's very little discourse happening and discussion. But yeah, I guess that's another conversation to have, isn't it?
most definitely, yeah.
So yeah, what I was struck also in Whimsy and Hester. The content I was kind of braced for, of knowing probably where it was going to go or the tone it was going to have from seeing your other shorts. But also I was interested in the use of distortions. Like to me, you kind of it seemed like you were using audio in a different kind of way, of kind of like purposefully distorting audio and doing different things there.
Yeah, yeah. You're probably the first person to even mention that to me. Yeah, I
Really?
definitely slow down some bits. Is there a specific scene that you had like a reference for?
Let me think. I
Because I
think
hide
there.
a lot of
What's that?
stuff in there.
Oh yeah, I remember there was a part where I think like three characters they sing or they're like talking at once, and the audio kind of like it starts distorting a lot, and it sounded like you were kind of adding some other layers on there of really trying to make it like this jarring kind of thing, almost kind of makes you jump out of your seat a little bit, and then
Yeah,
it just
that's the homeschool scene. The mom is reading the daughter's Mein Kampf, and when they start
oh
reciting
that
it, yeah,
oh
when they start reciting it, that's when you get all these weird echoes, and it's just meant to
yeah.
feel very creepy and just weird.
Was it just kind of to get a certain effect, you know, just to kind of um I guess surprise the audience with something like that? Was there a specific motivation for it, or were we just kind of playing around with how to present the material?
A little bit of both. I kind of just wanted to make it more disturbing by having like these sounds kind of come out of nowhere, and just
Oh,
and when they're reading Mein Kampf, you want the brooding music and you want this strange reverb happening. Like you almost feel like it's like some weird satanic cult almost, and then it
yeah,
immediately ends once the phone rings. So
yeah. um. Oh, another one I wrote down. I wrote down all the usual influences. Harmony Korine. Did we talk about Harmony Korine?
no, we haven't. I'm surprised we haven't.
Yeah, he's another one I feel is you can feel his presence, his specter lurking over your stuff too.
Yeah, it's the strangest thing. When I first saw Gummo, I was like, this movie is like what I would make if I had the budget. Like
Yeah,
I almost felt like we were cut from the same cloth, as you would say. And he continued, and I used to he his old philosophy of filmmaking was very dogmatic. Not to reference Dogma 95, but just in general, like it almost seemed like if you lean too much this way, it's too mainstream and blah blah blah.
yeah.
And yeah, he's definitely an influence and still continues to kind of influence my work. I watched the one that you did yesterday. I forgot the guy's name. Video Drone featuring. It was yesterday. We were talking about Harmony Korine, and you and I share the same personal favorite, Mr. Lonely.
Oh, Mr. Lonely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my personal favorite because, like, as much as I
yeah,
love Gummo and Julian Donkey Boy, there's something about Mr. Lonely that I really like. It's very sincere and like it's
yeah.
not trying to be edgy. It's just weird and very graceful, and it's very calming to me. When I watch it, like I feel nice inside when I watch Mr.
Yeah.
Lonely. It
It's
also has a lot of like sensibilities that I feel as a filmmaker I would use too, but not to where it kind of feels almost identical. It feels like something I want to aspire to.
yeah, yeah. To me, in a weird way, it's like his Kareem's most joyful film. Mr.
Mhm.
Lonely, because his work has always been very nihilistic and very dark. But Mr. Lonely, I feel like, is in some weird way his most life affirming work and his most joyful, his most positive.
Definitely
It's
like the softer side of Kareem.
Yeah, it's the closest he's come to making a feel good movie.
Yeah, considering Marilyn Monroe's character and all sorts. I
Yes.
love the buckwheat scene where he's scrubbing Abraham, the Pope in the bathtub.
Yeah.
He's crying. Amazing. I love it. Stuff like that,
uh,
man, draws me in.
it's a like just photographically too. It's a beautiful film too,
Mhm.
in the colors and the Super 35 cinematography and the Scottish locations. Like it's a gorgeous film just to look at.
I wish you would have done another movie in that style because
Yeah.
that was like the only one. Because Spring Breakers is more, it's not
Yeah.
as polished and
Yeah, it's darker, like just cinematographically. It mostly takes place at night and interiors.
with hyper neon colors and everything. But
Yes.
like, like Mr. Lonely felt in a way like a normal film. I know there's another word besides normal, but like because like Julian Donkey Boy is shot like on video, but then converted to film and then blown up
Yeah.
to like 35, and it's distorted and grainy. Trash Humpers is on VHS. Gummo has like the older aesthetic from like the 90s beyond, but like as far as like modern day pictures are made, Mr. Lonely is the only one that's like
With kind of a
looks like
classic.
yeah, we'll go with that. I really don't have the words for it, but you know
Yeah.
what I'm at here.
Yeah, but kind of a cinematic, like really kind of like traditionally cinematic style. Like
Traditional. There we
yeah.
go.
Like
One's is the most
CinemaScope,
traditional style.
landscapes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, it's so beautiful, man. I love it.
Yeah, me too, me too. It's an underrated one. I want to try and make a video on that one in the near future.
Yeah, no one ever seems to talk about it. They always talk about the edgy stuff and then the weird stuff, but no one's like,
Yeah, I talk about a
discussing.
lot of like dark, edgy movies, but I think at heart I am a softie and I love a good feel good movie, even if it's as dark as as Mr. Lonely.
Oh yeah, man. It's. I wish I could make like a really nice drama, like something that will make people feel like and cry. And
Yeah,
I've been aiming for that, but every time it's hard to attempt it. We don't have professional actors or equipment, and it just kind of, I don't want to make The Room, like that's what
yeah,
I'm worried about.
yeah,
So I'll just make all this crazy other shit,
yeah. Well,
instead.
there's always the potential. Maybe you'll get there. Maybe you'll eventually work to a place where it's like you can now make it happen. Just gotta let
I'm hoping
yourself, yeah, grow and evolve. Let me look at my other notes here. Yeah, I guess that was about it. Yeah, the only other stuff I wrote down was just about Whimsy and Hester. I like the sensibility. I like the strong sense of like personality you get from your work. That it it feels like you're really just kind of trying to make the stuff that interests you, that obsesses you, which
to.
I always appreciate. About art when artists just try to do the things they are drawn to naturally. Um, it's definitely Whimsy and Hester, along with your other work. It's comedy that makes you uncomfortable. It's my experience. It's I laugh, but I feel a little bit nauseous sometimes in some of the scenes. But I think that's intentional, right?
Of
Just trying to
course, yeah.
provoke a reaction.
Yeah. It's a way to stand out, and it's a way to just make me laugh. To just
Yeah.
see these characters just say the darndest things, and
uh-huh. Okay. So I think we're about winding down now. Um, so I think at the end here, I would like to ask you for a few recommendations for movies that you feel are underrated, underseen, maybe just a few yeah, suggestions for myself or for viewers, for whomever. Are there any movies that come to mind? It's like ones you want to give more attention or love to?
um, the Kentucky Fried Movie. If no one's seen it, Greaser's Palace by Robert Downey.
Greaser's Palace. I've never seen that one.
It's his acid western
Oh
from
wow.
the 70s. Yeah, so it's kind of like El Topo in a way. It's like his
I did not I did not even know he made an acid western.
yeah, it's it's hard. It's out of print, man, and I wish I had a copy. It's on
Yeah, I
YouTube
think
actually.
oh, it's on YouTube?
Yeah, that's how I saw it.
Yeah, people should definitely check out Robert Downey Sr. The Criterion Collection just put out a set of his work. His movie, what's the one he did with the guy with the firecrackers that Paul Thomas Anderson used in
Putney
Boogie
Swope.
Nights? Putney Swope, that's right. Yeah, Putney Swope had a tremendous influence on Paul Thomas Anderson. So yeah, any fan of Boogie Nights should check out his work. What was the one you said? Greaser's Palace?
Yeah, Greaser's Palace. It
I,
stars one of the guys from MASH in it. I never really watched MASH.
the show?
Yeah, or the movie, honestly.
The movie's good. Robert
Yeah.
Altman, movie's good. I've never really watched the show either.
The Brown Bunny. Have you seen The Brown Bunny?
Yeah, I actually own that on DVD right over there.
Awesome. That's my third favorite film ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Vincent Gallo?
I'm sorry?
Vincent Gallo?
I love Vincent Gallo. Yeah, he's I wish I could see Promises Written in Water, but he doesn't want anyone to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always recommend Brown Bunny because I'm like, no one ever talks about it, and those who do, they hate it. But there's a very small niche that do really appreciate it for the art piece that it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's really a film, I think, yeah, that kind of was maybe made in the wrong time when the audience for that kind of work no longer really existed, unfortunately.
No, yeah, definitely. 2003,
It's a movie.
I'm sure everyone's seen The Master by now, right?
Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson?
Yeah, that's my second favorite movie. I love The Master. It's my favorite
Really?
PTA. It's The Master and then Punch Drunk. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, I love Punch Drunk.
Barry Egan is like me, man, except not as, honestly, if I saw this thing on Facebook about a year ago, it was like pick 3 movie characters that best describe your personality. Barry Egan from Punch Drunk Love, Alvy Singer from Annie Hall, which is Woody Allen's character.
Yeah.
And Ben Stiller as Roger Greenberg in the film Greenberg.
Oh, interesting. Another underrated movie, Greenberg.
Yeah, man. I watched that recently and I was like, Jesus, I am Greenberg. I hate myself. I'm such an asshole. No wonder why girls don't like me. Like, it's just after seeing that.
Yeah, yeah. So top 3 movies for you, then 2001, right?
2001.
And then The Master. And then Brown Bunny.
Yeah.
What do you think of Buffalo 66? Because that's my personal favorite from Gallo.
I love it, and it's amazing. There's just something about the Brown Bunny that I like more about it, and I can't pin it down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something about it.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, it's like no other movie.
Yeah. I wish he would just. I wish the critics weren't so harsh on him, man, because I would love to see more work from him.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. He seems he lashes out a lot and says a lot of outrageous things, but I honestly think it comes from just a place of vulnerability. Like, I just think he's really sensitive and doesn't take criticism well and feels, I think he's easily wounded and lashes out and says these crazy things that he says. So yeah, what?
I love his interviews. They're great.
Yeah. But yeah, it does. I am bummed that he's not putting out Promises Written in Water, his 3rd movie, that he's apparently never going to make another movie because he's an amazing filmmaker.
Yeah, it's funny because that's not even like his main like art form. He does like music and paintings, or he used to do paintings a lot, like in the 80s. He was friends with like Basquiat and all that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that. I always forget. I really only know him as an actor and like a filmmaker.
Same. Yeah. His films.
So those are some good ones. Greaser's Palace and The Brown Bunny. Yeah, definitely ones to check out. However they can be checked out. I want to do a video myself on Brown Bunny soon. I did one on Buffalo 66. I do want to do one on Brown Bunny.
Dude, that ending, man, just
Are you talking about the final scene? I'm trying to remember the ending now.
Well, the big like reveal of like the whole like the where it kind of like makes the whole movie make sense once it kind of.
Oh, yeah, there's a flashback, isn't
Yeah,
there?
from the
That's right. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I do want to rewatch. I do want to rewatch it.
yeah. I try to watch it at least once a year.
Yeah, nice. That's
Not
the way
not
to
to
do
kind
it.
of get back into influences, but Terrence Malick again.
Oh,
Is also like yeah. I don't know if not many people will see it though, like the influence in it, but he's in there somewhere.
that's interesting. Terrence Malick. I might
Especially
have
like
to.
his later work, like To the Wonder and like Tree of Life.
Yeah,
I love Badlands, but I wouldn't introduce Terrence Malick to anyone with Badlands because it's so.
it's
I mean,
different
it's
from.
great. It's probably his best in terms of you know
Oh, you think so?
storytelling and acting, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but but the reason why it's so conventional and everything else is more poetic and just kind of man. You know what I mean? I don't have a way with words.
No, no,
Why
no.
can't I write books?
But no, I Badlands is really different from the rest of his work, and I actually just rewatched it because I'm doing a video on it
Oh, nice.
fairly soon. But I was actually surprised going back to it, like how funny it was. I was actually talking about this earlier today on the other stream I did.
Oh, cool.
I was really surprised that it was funny. Like I've never really sensed a lot of humor in Malick's other work, and so it was just kind of a shock for me rewatching Badlands. Like there's a lot of dark humor in it, I thought, that I'd never seen there before. Did you have a similar reaction? Is it just me?
Looking back on it, I haven't seen it in about a year or two, but yeah, man, the way the music abruptly cuts when they're out
Oh,
dancing,
oh
his
yeah, that's
interaction with
right.
like her father, and
Yeah,
when Terrence Malick himself when he cameos, like there's this
yeah,
awkwardness in that film.
yeah. Just a weird contrasting in the way the actions the characters commit and the way they react to them. Like there's a scene where Martin Sheen shoots somebody, and the guy's like sitting there dying, and Sissy Spacek just kind of walks up to him. She's like, "Hi," and he's got like this bullet wound in his gut. He's slowly expiring, and he's just like, "Hey," and she's just like looking around his house, and it's like, "Is that your spider?" And it's like, "Yeah," and they just have this strange interaction that seems so incongruous, with what has just happened. That to me kind of creates this sort of comedic effect, but it's very dark and it's
Yeah,
very strange and surreal. But like I'd never seen it there before.
it definitely reminds me of at least like when you're saying that you saw like the comedy in that film in a non-comedic film. It's like Douglas Sirk, like his approach to melodramas.
Oh yeah,
There's like this other layer there that's I don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely not straightforward.
yeah, yeah. I think I've only seen one Douglas Sirk movie. Um, Written on the Wind, I think it was. But yeah, I remember some spots in that where you feel kind of like a certain kind of modern sensibility, like a sort of ironic approach
Yeah,
to the material.
especially Magnificent Obsession. That's my favorite one.
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to write that one down.
Yeah, that's it's about a blind woman, I believe.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, it's
I
great.
ha- I have a what is it? I think all that heaven allows. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, and what an influence, man. Far from Heaven, and there's another film that takes
Far from Heaven. That's a great movie.
yeah, Todd Haynes. You ever see Karen Carpenter story, Superstar?
Yeah, with all the Barbie done
Yeah.
entirely with Barbie dolls. Yeah, that's a crazy one.
I used to have a bootleg copy of it, and I lent it to a friend, and he moved away. So
Oh man. Yeah, that's kind of like that's like one of those rare like I don't know if you call it a banned movie, but it's sort of like one of those rare forbidden films because the Karen Carpenter estate didn't approve of it, and yeah, have tried to kind of keep it suppressed. It's like one of those movies. It's like you
yeah,
kind of got to find ways to see it.
yeah, you
Which
can't really publicly screen that either. I think because of the
yeah,
copyright issues.
yeah, of course, yeah, and it uses all the Carpenter's music. But yeah, it kind of makes it more exciting to try and find it and track it down.
I think it's funny that the brother was offended that Todd Haynes was alluding to him being a homosexual, and that was like one of the reasons why he wanted to suppress the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's somewhere on there. That's what I've heard, read.
It's a fascinating story behind that one. But yeah, if you can find it, it is a really interesting one. I think Todd Haynes is great.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch more of him, man. I think I've only seen, yeah, Far From Heaven and the Karen Carpenter story. Although I saw some of Carol, but I had to leave and I couldn't finish it. So
I actually just rewatched that one on Netflix. It's a really good film.
it's on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay, well, it looks like I'm gonna have stuff to watch now.
Yeah. My favorite is I'm Not There, the Bob Dylan one. I think that's a masterpiece.
I have a copy. I've not watched it.
You
So even
really
if I'm not
should.
into Bob Dylan, I can watch it. Like totally is.
Yeah, I wasn't into Bob Dylan until I saw that movie.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's what I was like kind of intimidated by. I was like, man, I don't know that much about Bob. Like I have
Yeah.
records, but I'm not that big of a fan. So I just never really watched it.
No, I think it's a great way, the way it represents, his influence, his legend, his, what would you call it, mercurial personality. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's the best musical biopic I've ever seen, and just one of the best movies I think I've ever seen. I really love it.
Damn. Well, with a statement like that, I definitely must see it now.
Okay, and yeah, I've got a few things I need to check out too, and I think that about wraps up the show.
Yeah. Hey, but I just wanted to say, man, when I discovered your channel, I was like, finally, there's this guy that puts in so much work and articulating and, just talking about movies, because that's what I love. And, I don't, see that anywhere. I mean, I guess on YouTube there's like some nerds and whatever. But like, I really like your approach to the whole filmmaking thing. I think if you and I were ever, because right now, like, I can just go on for hours. If I ever met you in person, it would 5 hours would pass, and we'd probably go around in a bunch of circles and
yes,
avenues of filmmakers and filmmaking. It's just
God, yes, I'm sure we would.
Yeah. That's how me and my best friend are. That's usually how we communicate, just references and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I have friends. Yeah, you'll come over. We'll watch movies. Oh God, this is kind of embarrassing. I have a friend named Brett. He and I are currently going through all the Resident Evil movies, and we just watched the 5th one. And then it's a thing. He'll come over, around like 9 p.m. and just like, hey, we'll just watch the movie because we both have jobs and other stuff. And so like, yeah, we'll just pop by, watch the movie, and then we'll end up talking for like 5 hours until like 2 a.m. just about movies and other stuff. Like once you start, it's hard to stop.
It
A
really
like-minded
is.
person.
I'm gonna be sad now that we're ending this, but let things die, I guess.
Be happy to have you back whenever you feel like coming back.
Cool.
If you have another movie, or if you just want to, come on and just talk about film.
Definitely, yeah.
Don't be
I'll
shy.
try. Next time I get a film made, my next short, I'll send you a copy, and that'll be a way for me to get back on here with something to plug, I guess.
Yes, of course. And if you just want to come on and do a Siskel and Ebert style talk about, just stuff we've seen recently, I'd be happy to do that too.
Wait, who's Ebert? I think I'm the fatter one. I'll be Ebert.
I guess so. None of us is really
Sorry.
Well, I'll let it slide. So I guess this about wraps up Video Drone. Everyone, if you are into John Waters and that kind of edgier R. Crumb style stuff, do check out Jeffrey Garcia's work on his YouTube channel. You can go to his website and purchase one of these wonderful DVDs, physical media copies for yourself. Support an artist, a filmmaker, which I think is always a good thing. And Jeffrey, thank you for joining me. I hope to have you back.
Yeah, not a problem. This was fun.
Yes, it was. All right. I think that's about it. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you all had a good time. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a good Thanksgiving. and
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Bye bye.